Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Mrs. Alia Jadun from Army Public School and College Fort Road, Rawalpindi. I welcome FSC Part 2 Physics students in this online sport program 2020. This is first lecture of week 3 and we are studying chapter 16 which is physics of solids, and the topic which will be discussed in today's lecture is superconductors, given on page number 255-256 of your physics textbook. Dear students, after careful watching this video, I expect you all to come up with these learning outcomes. You will understand a superconductor is a material that can conduct electricity or transport electrons from one atom to another with no resistance. You will become familiar with the behavior of superconductors and their potential uses. In our previous lecture, students, we have discussed that on the basis of energy band theory, the solid state of matter is classified into three categories. These are insulators, conductors, and semiconductors. In terms of energy band, insulators are those material which are having an empty conduction band, that is, they don't have any free electron, a full valence band, and there present a large energy gap between them. Conductors are those which have plenty of free electrons for electrical conduction, and in terms of energy band, conductors are those materials in which valence and the conduction bands largely overlap each other. There is no physical distinction between the two bands, which ensures the availability of large number of free electrons. Then comes semiconductors. In terms of energy band, semiconductors are those materials which at room temperature have partially filled conduction band, partially filled valence band, and a very narrow forbidden energy gap that is of order of 1 electron volt between the conduction and the valence bands. When the potential difference is applied across the conductor, the electric current will start flowing through this conductor. When the electric current flows through the conductor, the electrical energy is dissipated in the form of light and heat. Now, how much energy is being dissipated, it depends upon the nature of the material and electric resistance. Every material has opposition to the flow of the current. This is known as resistance, and it depends upon the length and cross-sectional area of the conductor. There is one more factor which affects the resistance of a conductor, and that is known as temperature. We know that with the increase in the temperature of the conductor, the thermal energy of the atoms of conductor will also be increased. Due to increased thermal energy, the atoms of conductor will start moving vigorously, and they will get more and more chances to collide with each other. This, as a result, build up resistance of the conductor. On the other hand, when we reduce the temperature of the conductor, the motion of the atoms of conductor will also be slowed down, and as a result, they get less chances of colliding with each other. Due to this fact, the resistance of the conductor will also be reduced. So when we drop the temperature of the conductor, the resistance will also be decreased, and suppose there comes such a temperature when the resistance will become 0, then at this temperature the conductor will become a perfect conductor and the current starts flowing through the conductor for an infinite time. That is, once the resistance of the material drops to 0, no energy is dissipated, and the current once established continue to exist indefinitely without the source of EMF. We will perform a simple activity over here where a bulb is connected with a battery, as you can see on your screen right now. Now if we remove this battery and in place of this battery we insert the wire in the circuit, what we surprisingly observed is that charges are still moving. They keep on moving for a day, maybe for a night, a week, or so on. No battery is there. So what is the reason of flow of charges? The reason is that the charges will stop motion when there is resistance present in the conductor. So continuous motion of charges in this case show there is no resistance at all. So this material will be given the name of superconductor. And this phenomena of superconductivity was first discovered in 1911 when mercury was cooled to approximately 4 degree Kelvin temperature by a Dutch physicist, He Kamerlingh Onnes, and as a result of his achievement of superconductivity, He earned a Nobel Prize in 1913. In order to understand the concept of superconductivity, it is very important to know the BCS theory. We at this stage just introduce the basics of BCS theory. Inshallah, in your future classes, you will discuss this in very detail. BCS theory is a theory of superconductivity which is formulated by three scientists. Their names are John Bardeen, Leon Cooper, and Robert Schrieffer. It explains the phenomena in which a current of electron pairs flow without resistance in certain materials at low temperatures. A Cooper pair is the name given to the electrons that are bound together in a certain manner. Cooper pairs are formed by an attractive force between the electron from the exchange of phonon. Phonon is analogous to photons in electromagnetic. The energy of phonon is usually less than 0.1 electron volt. When a metal is cooled to the critical temperature, electrons in metal form Cooper pairs. Cooper pairs are electrons which exchange phonons and become bound together. The BCS theory of superconductivity states that bound photons have slightly lower energy which prevent lattice collision and thus eliminates lattice. Now let us first define the term superconductors. The phenomena in which electrical resistance of the given specimen of matter or alloy falls suddenly to zero on cooling it to extremely low temperature is called superconductors. Superconductors are the material that offer no resistance to the electric current. Now the temperature at which electrical resistance is zero is called the critical temperature. Not all materials turn into superconductors. And the materials that do turn into superconductors, they are having their own value of the critical temperature. For example, mercury turns into superconductor at a temperature of 4.2 Kelvin. So the critical temperature of mercury is 4.2 Kelvin. Some of the prominent examples of superconductor includes aluminum, mercury, yttrium, barium, copper oxide, etc. You can see the periodic table on your screen. On this periodic table, the highlighted elements are shown. They are superconducting with the continuous line, and you can also see some of the superconducting materials which turn superconductors under very high pressure or in thin films. Here is the graph of some of the materials which turn into superconductors at their certain critical temperature. You can see this figure that at that specific temperature, which is known as critical temperature, the resistance of these material drops to zero and they turn themselves into superconductors. In 1920, Meissner discovered that not only did superconductors exhibit zero resistance, but also spontaneously expel all magnetic flux when cooled through the superconducting transition. That is, they are also perfect dimagnets. So we can say that superconductivity is the set of physical properties observed in certain materials wherein electrical resistance vanishes and from which magnetic flux fields are expelled. Any material which is exhibiting these properties is a superconductor. The discovery and the development of superconductors have brought a new revolution in electrical technologies. Superconductors have many technological applications, such as in magnetic resonance imaging, which is commonly known as MRI. It uses the strong magnetic field which produced by the superconducting materials for scanning. Computer processing produces the image identifying tumors and inflamed tissues. It is also used in magnetic levitation trains, powerful but small electric motors, and faster computer chips. The superconductor technology provides lossless wires and cables and improves the reliability and efficiency of power grid with a superconducting power grid. It can also be used in transmission cables or in the windings for motors, generators, and transformers. Let us quickly recap the topic which we have discussed today. There are some materials whose resistivity becomes zero below a certain temperature, which is called the critical temperature. At this temperature, the materials become the perfect conductors, also known as the superconductors. Superconductivity happens when the electrons work together in Cooper pairs This is also called the BCS theory. The Meissner effect is the expulsion of magnetic field from a superconductor during its transition to the superconducting state when it is cooled below the critical temperature. Superconductors have many technological applications such as in magnetic resonance imaging, magnetic levitation trains, powerful but small electric motors, and faster computer chips. Now, I am sure that all of you have got a good concept of superconductors, and inshallah in your future classes you will study this topic in more details. Take care, stay blessed, Allah Hafiz.